Hello, Jerry Donoghue here, and welcome to part 3 of this presentation about creating the conditions for effortless transformation. In the prior video, we explored a non-pathological, non-invasive, non-prescriptive way of coaching people that is highly effective in creating these conditions. And in this video, we'll carry on with 3 more principles. First one is the ways you can inadvertently add to the client's conditioning and constrict them. What it means to work in the present with a client. And last, we'll explore verifying that effortless transformations have happened with clients. All 3 of these are critical in cultivating and maintaining a quality of presence that will powerfully create the condition for effortless transformations to occur in clients. All right, so let's start with the first one. Being aware how we might inadvertently add to the client's conditioning. This is kind of like the medical oath of first do no harm. The psycho-spiritual coaching version might be first, don't add to the client's conditioning and constrict them further as you try to help them transcend their conditioning. As you begin to work with clients from a high degree of presence, it becomes clear all the ways you can add to their conditioning. For example, offering support primarily from our own conditioning instead of a high degree of presence. Anytime I notice a strong agenda or an attachment to things going a certain way in a session, that's a cue to me that my high degree of presence, my unconditioned presence, if you will, has been diminished by subtly being identified with my own conditioning. It doesn't matter if any of my agendas or attachments arise out of this context and desire of wanting to help somebody or support another. They can cause just as much disconnection within the client as any other. Another way to add to the client's conditioning is being an authority or cultivating client submissiveness or acquiescence. In an environment where clients want to project all kinds of things on us, being an authority to them will not help this dynamic. We do not want to usurp their own inner authority. Another way is we can be biased about what is and is not explored by the client. I've seen these biases come out in various ways in sessions I was conducting. What I direct the client to explore or not explore turned out to be not so helpful or effective. All because I was responding out of my own conditioning and lack of presence in that moment. Here's another important way we can add to the client's conditioning. Any unconscious, unresolved, incomplete emotional fixation within the coach can be activated by the client exploring their own fixation that is of a similar theme. For example, if a coach hasn't resolved and gotten complete with the hurt, disappointment, grief of ending a relationship, and is supporting a client to hold presence for their relationship ending, the coach's incompletion might get in the way of effective support. One way could be perhaps the coach inadvertently encourages the client to suppress feelings or discourages them from going deep into their experience. Another possibility is perhaps the coach would get all excited about helping someone get completion with something they don't have completion with themselves, which is a subtle way to keep the coach safe from dealing with their own pain and end up working on it vicariously through clients. And that is not so effective for both client or the coach. So with all these possibilities of adding to clients' conditioning, I'm just naming a few here, what I've done is developed and taught myself a set of protocols that keeps me contributing to others out of presence while keeping my own conditioning and unresolved issues in check. This in turn goes a long way in creating these conditions for effortless transformations to occur. Okay, let's move on to the next way, or the next principle we're going to cover. So working in the present with a client can reduce their identification with parts of them that are merging with past or future stories. Some psychospiritual approaches teach that the past or future are not relevant, and we need to focus on the present and only the now matters. Other approaches focus on the healing of the past and put a lot of attention into delving into the past in various ways. Yet other approaches say resolving the past is futile and it's better to focus on creating a better future. The inner presence work acknowledges and incorporates all these perspectives with the realization that memories and future projections take on different dimensions when they arise in and are connected with presence in the moment. Working in the present is in an inner presence inquiry session means we attune to and engage and hold presence for whatever is emerging. We're not excavating the past, nor are we creating the future in a goal-oriented session. If a client has a memory arise in a session when exploring a certain context, we invite it in to presence and connect with it in an emotionally vivid way. If a client has a future projection emerge in the session, we invite it into presence and again connect with it in an emotionally vivid way. If a client has thoughts that they should be more connected to the present, we invite those thoughts into presence. There's a quality difference in being totally identified with a past memory or future projection with no awareness and inviting past memories or future projections into the here and now awareness for consideration. The inner presence inquiry work is about cultivating a high degree of presence, practicing maintaining that presence when challenging memories or future projections emerge for both the client and facilitator. Working in the present in this way really gives a useful focus to a session and prevents a client from being identified with a thought stream that vacillates from past memories to future projections. Okay, so the last principle or point I want to explore here is verifying that effortless transformations have happened or are fully integrated. will prevent false positives or contrived transformations that are not lasting. So this, kind of begs the question, how do we know when transformation has happened with clients? Do we trust our evaluations and perceptions? Do we take the client's word for it? This question of how do we know points back to the particular definition of transformation we use and the specific markers that are used to indicate transformation has happened. After working with a particular object of inquiry, is there an emotional core belief or construct the client is no longer identified with on a permanent basis? In other words, has there been some of the thinking been naturally deconstructed? That's another way of putting it. And does this consequently inspire a change in meaning the client experiences? Or maybe it inspires a change in the way the client perceives the world or experiences themselves. Or perhaps they experience a mismatch in reality and in the sense that something that was considered to be true or accurate is now considered not true or not accurate. These are some of the things I look for over the years. I've also have grown skeptical of clients' glowing reviews of the impact of a session because I've seen how such reviews can be clients' protective parts protecting them. Perhaps they offer up a positive, glowing accounts of a session or the effects of a session in order to tell me what they think I want to hear as a deflection to inquire further. Maybe they have positive reports to simply please me. I've seen how these glowing reviews can be attempts to change the focus of a session that has the potential of going deeper. So to give me the assurance that authentic transformation has happened, what I do is I rely upon the client's body-mind system to tell me. So I want to get it, see if it's experientially anchored into their system. For example, if a client was bringing presence to anxiety about talking in front of a group in a series of sessions and declares that it's no longer a problem, I might ask them to do a little exercise to determine the depth of transformation. I would have the client imagine standing in front of a group of people and to notice all the people looking at him or her. When I got a sense that he or she was really putting himself or herself in that scene, I would ask, notice what is happening in the body. I would ask him or her to see himself speaking to the group of people and notice how they're looking at him or her. And inquire as to what feelings were coming up. To share what thoughts or self-judgments might be occurring, if any. If the client holds steady in this imagined context that was previously terrifying, then I have some confidence that perhaps some transformation has occurred. Although ultimately I would like to hear of an actual experience where there was not that level of anxiety that was the object of inquiry when the client went out and spoke before a group. If the client is still triggered with fear or shutting down or engaged in self-judgments, either in the imaginative exercise or an actual experience, then that would indicate to me that further inquiries are warranted. It gives me some feedback about my effectiveness, so I can know for sure that I'm making the optimal contribution to clients. I believe it's important to incorporate these kinds of checking questions and exercises into whatever system of personal or spiritual growth you utilize. Besides keeping the client's reporting of their own experience in check, it keeps the coach's perceptions in check as well. Yeah, I mean, coaches can fall prey to being attached to seeing clients transform, which can affect how they perceive or evaluate client transformations. So I've developed these protocols to prevent this from happening, so that accurate feedback can be considered and acted upon by both coach and client. Yeah, so this concludes the exploration of these 3 points. I hope this presentation was meaningful for you. If you'd like to train in this approach to coaching, we have a 9-month coaching program starting soon. Check out the website, www.innerpresencecoaching.com, for the specific dates when the next 9-month coaching program starts. Or if you know somebody that might be interested in this style of coaching where we're integrating the best of Eastern Enlightenment traditions with the best of psychology, please pass this video on to them. And if you have any questions about what has been presented in this video or anything else, you feel free to email me at jerry@innerpresencecoaching.com. So thanks for listening, and I hope to hear from you soon.